Standing by. He is a Middle East geopolitical intelligence analyst. He is in Tel Aviv. Avi, good to have you with us. Thanks for your time today, as always.
Hello, Todd. Thank you for having me.
All right, your thoughts on what we're seeing here, how this is playing out, what you are watching for, Avi.
Well, we are on day 4 of this war. As of now, Israel can mark some significant achievements, particularly obtaining total control over the sky of Iran. We have to understand that this is something unprecedented as far as the Iranian people and the Iranian regime are concerned. For the last 4 decades, this regime got used to inflict death and destruction across the Middle East while totally remaining untouchable. That's not the situation right now, and that has a lot of ramifications on the ground.
What is the end game here, do you think, for this conflict? How do you think this is going to unfold, Avi? Because we know that there's calls now for de-escalation. It doesn't seem like the Israelis are interested in that right now.
Well, it seems like that the end game is to bring back Iran to the negotiations from a much weaker position, to the point the Iranian will not start again playing their games, and to the point they will comply with the terms the Trump administration said that are non-negotiable, and first and foremost, the whole issue of totally stopping enriching uranium in Iran. I think this is the end game, and it seems like things are moving that direction.
How much of a blow is this to the Iranian regime? We know that the the Ayatollah Khamenei is still, as far as we know, in charge. But I mean, you are talking about a series of attacks that have taken out, have killed the top generals in Iran, the top military intelligence generals, as well as more than a dozen of the top nuclear scientists. So for the Iranian regime watching this, what does it mean?
In one word, it means catastrophe. This regime has been building its power, among other things, on the image that it is totally non-touchable. Nobody could touch that regime because that regime was immune, allegedly, from any repercussion. Now that regime is experiencing something that the last time it experienced was in 1980s during the Iranian-Iraqi war. And one of the major pillars that the regime has been always establishing on to project its might was that it is totally non-touchable, and basically creating itself an image of a deterrence and a fear that, in fact, to a large extent, up until a couple of days ago, was very effectively serving the regime. That is now totally a different ball game. The regime is looking at what's going on from the regime perspective. This is a catastrophic situation.
How much damage do you think has been done, Avi, to Iran's nuclear program?
I don't know to evaluate the exact amount of damage, but clearly there has been damage, particularly when you're looking at sites like the Natanz and the Isfahan sites in Iran. I think that more than that, we have to look also in context of the damage caused to Iran's military spine, which is the ballistic missiles industry and capacities. That has been something that the Iranian regime have been constantly focusing on developing. Today, we got a situation where Iran is totally exposed to Israeli Air Force. Israeli Air Force is controlling the Iranian sky. And on top of this all physical damage and all the ramifications that comes along with it, we also have to think about the damage to the image of the Iranian regime. The region is looking, the region is shocked to see what happened to the Iranian regime in the last couple of days. And this is something as part of what I said, why the Iranian regime is looking at the situation, and this is a catastrophic situation for that regime.
What about Ayatollah Ali Khamenei? We know that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, Avi, has said he's not ruling out possibly targeting Khamenei himself. For now, that has not happened. There's reporting that the United States intervened and said, do not kill him. But your thoughts on how that could play out? And if not, is it Khamenei who backs down, who agrees to go back to the bargaining table? Do you see that happening?
I don't think it was something real. I don't really think it was really something on the table. It seems to me like something that comes more from the field of psychological warfare, to put it this way. Maybe in a way kind of like yet another level of reflecting or projecting the weakness of the Iranian regime, meaning the fact that Israel and the United States discuss allegedly whether to take out Khamenei or not. He is the supreme leader. this is a great, I would say, insulting sort of speaking position towards the Iranian regime. But I don't think it was really on the table.
How long can Israel sustain this, do you think, Avi? I mean, realistically?
Look, we're looking at a very complex situation because in the end of the day, as you could all see, the Israeli civil front is the front. I mean, every day we see these Iranian missiles targeting Israeli civilians and populations, the cities, and so on and so on. This is, of course, an enormous pressure. But I think that when we try to assess the Israeli public opinion on that issue, I think that it's quite clear that the Israeli public opinion understands more than ever, I would say, how significant it is to address the challenge that this regime presents to Israel. Right now, we are dealing with one component of the challenge of this regime, and this is the missiles, the ballistic missiles. For the last 40 years, Israel has been dealing, and many other Arab countries as well, has been dealing with other component of the Iranian challenge, and these are the militias, Hezbollah and Hamas and Islamic Jihad. We have not yet talked about the nuclear component. So you can understand from here, particularly these very days where Israelis are experiencing these very traumatic times, being attacked by ballistic missiles, you can understand that when we talk about nuclear threat, you can understand that Israeli public opinion will be totally united around the sentiment or the narrative or the demand to make sure whatever it takes to eliminate that threat.
Avi Melamed joining us from Tel Aviv. He's a Mideast geopolitical intelligence analyst. Thanks for your time, Avi.